Hey there, class. Daniel Meyer here, and with my discussion post here. Just starting off with the first thought was, what do you find most compelling in that introduction from Foster's book? And for me, it was really the application. I'm always kind of intrigued by books and resources that are are old, basically old, for lack of a better term, are not brand new. A lot of books that I read are 1, 2, 3, maybe 10 years or less old, and so most of the time, and so I always find it intriguing when you can have a resource that, in this case, is older than I am, and it is still very applicable. And things have, in some senses, changed, but overall, the big picture really hasn't changed when it comes to connecting with Christ and walking with Him in this journey here on earth. And I'm really with that as Foster talks about just that, just the relationships. And when I think of that application and living life and the relationships that he talks about in the introduction about marriage and neighbors and friends, and I think of the relationships I have at church or in the community or with different parents through my kids' school or friends I've had, over the years, and the opportunities that we have to kind of do this life together and to do these spiritual disciplines together. When it comes to when those inward disciplines and what I found most compelling, for me, it was really, and it took me kind of a second really to kind of, after reading through that first section of the book, was the study. And it's funny because I'm here taking this master's class, and full transparency here, I really don't even like school. Nothing against Wesley Seminary or this class or anything like that. I'm just not a very good, like, you have to do this at a certain time, here's a syllabus rubric, those types of things. But the flip of it is, side of it is I love to learn. I love to read books. I really try to read a book or two a month. And I've been doing that for the last several years. It's really been kind of a New Year's resolution goal for me. And just really enjoy learning. If one of you said, hey, Daniel, I got this article you need to read, you need to check this out, this book, this resource, go to this conference, something like that. I really enjoy doing that. I really enjoy challenging the status quo and learning and growing. And so I really latched on to that study concept that, I feel with the way God's created us is that we're just never done growing. And we have this opportunity to learn and expand our minds and take more knowledge then to apply those to our lives and then just bring more glory and honor to God. So I really connected with that there. When it comes to the third part, which is identifying just something troubling or a point of question, I always kind of struggle with these books in the sense of just that application of daily life and that tension of kind of things we've been talking about just in this first couple weeks of this class of, in my case, marriage, kids, jobs, my kids' activities, having two kids, 10 and under, and that I'm just at a pace of life that is very quick, and there's a lot of things on the plate, and just whether it's making the time or even just being a little bit is that tension of just kind of being a person that maybe isn't drawn to some of those other disciplines of whether that be prayer, meditation, fasting, or just not something that had been in my normal routine. But I'd also say maybe not really been obviously prayer, but I'd say meditation and fasting haven't always been a part of my faith tradition. Growing up, it's things that were talked about, but things that were not really overly maybe encouraged is the word, or structured, or here's kind of the way you should live this out. And so sometimes I feel like, and this is what we get to wrestle about with this class, and then I know my position to teach others to do, is how do we then wrestle and manage this tension of living a life in 2018 and into the future, but then also doing these disciplines. I know I've been on record telling members at our church about just the discipline of coming to worship and being involved in a faith community. And I was probably interested to wake up on a Sunday morning if that's when your service is or those types of things. So I definitely kind of are drawn in some ways to discipline, but in other ways just the disciplines, some of these other things don't fully resonate with me. And I think it is always challenging to put into words for a writer how Daniel Meyer should do that, or how one of you should do that. So those are my thoughts as we just get going kind of in this first chunk of the book. And so enjoy.